Good morning, future officers. Welcome back once again to Toppers Academy Morung Express newspaper analysis. Today I'll be covering 7th of March as well as today's newspaper, that is the 9th of March, together. I hope you all are doing well and continuing your preparation with dedication and discipline. By now you would have experienced how the daily newspaper analysis gradually improves your understanding of the current events and also strengthen your analytical ability. So this consistency is what separates a serious aspirant from the rest. In today's session, we will analyze the Morung Express with a clear examination mindset or oriented approach. Our focus will be on identifying the important issues, understanding their relevance to NPSC and NSSB syllabus, and also learning how to frame them into effective prelims and mains notes. So as we go through the newspaper, pay attention to how the current events can be linked with your constitutional provisions, the government policies and administrative challenges. So this skill will help you write balanced and well-structured answers in examination. So let us begin today's analysis with focus and confidence. Stay consistent, stay disciplined, and keep moving forward on your journey to becoming future officers. So starting off with the first article for today, that is for the 7th of March. Let's start with this one because this is very important. You should keep track of this one. Our kiki update you should write it down. This census is going to be very important for your any upcoming exams even after 2027. So those who are preparing now 2027 tak kiki happen hola je etu laga janibo lagibo, and after 2027 when the official census report is out, then our whole census that we are studying now, population sex ratio can stop change with our. So from 2027 after that our answers will also be quite different from what you're studying now. Okay, so itia karne to what is important is the till the 2027 we have the census, so itu laga process laga hi important ase. So Nagaland notifies the schedule for 2027 housing census. The Nagaland government has notified the schedule for the first phase of the census in India 2027. Actually, our census 2021 the ho takala jo. Holipi to COVID kan aur kikian hoina bisite tan corona paro jese to delay guri kunai to 2027 tak tilu jese. Announcing that the house listing and the housing census in the state will be conducted from 1st of July to 30th of July 2026. So this is one GK that you can keep in mind or say write it down. This will be the house listing or housing census for the state of Nagaland. That duration is from July 1st to 30th. So date keeps on changing with states. Okay, so kuna state dia alag ase date, Nagaland dito July 1 bra 30 tak ase. So just hold it is 1 month. Okay, and those who know the date of implementing the GST, just remember this the date of the GST na 1st July. So ito ni when you're studying, try to connect one thought with the other and try to remember. Okay, according to a notification issued by the Home Department General Administration Branch 1, those who are preparing for mains, you should also study this one. The Home Department General Administration or Home Department, this is General Administration Branch, and one is there again confidential or something branch. The option for self-enumeration will remain operational from June 16 to 30. So self-enumeration is also allowed. Kote nicho prahi itu fill crew like ikta thaki option. So that will be from 16 to 30 of June 2026. So this whole exercise are being carried out in exercise of the powers conferred by subsection 3 of the Rules Act of the Census Rules 1990, made under the provisions of the Census Act 1948. So the Census Act 1948 ase. Anuj Agnihotri tops civil service examination UPSC. See for our exam ki important ase kudido time to huti thake viva de noli bi oi ajal to MCQ type kan huti na holi bi ni vivas kan bi huti thake na to top 1 teacher lakun se jane nya na. So because these people will go and become the principal secretary and all in the future. So Anuj Agnihotri, he has topped the UPSC exam. All right, so I think sadly Nagaland but this year ektabi nai, and from Manipur I think it was 4 or 6 of them who cleared. Okay, Vice President calls on Naka youths to pursue progress with purpose. So our Vice President C.P. Radhakrishnan, he was here in Nagaland, and he attended the convocation. He graced the convocation of Nagaland University, 8th convocation. So the 8th convocation ceremony of Nagaland University was held on the March 6 with Vice President C.P. Radhakrishnan addressing the graduates as the chief guest. So he was the chief guest for the 8th convocation ceremony of the Nagaland University, and emphasizing the role of educational institutions in shaping future leaders. Lauding the institution's progress since its establishment as a separate entity from the Northeastern Hill University in 1994. So it became important as a NU to Nihu Lanter to Nihu Prakira separate to Alak Olajulio 1994, right? So this is also the year when the Nagaland University was established. So if someone knows the date, then write it in the comment section. That is one thing. Second comment that I would like to keep from this very particular article is who is the chancellor? Okay, who is the chancellor of Nagaland University? Vice chancellor alak tayo chancellor do. It's interesting. Okay, try to comment likhi moita nako. Radhakrishnan commented his contribution at the state, national, and international levels, particularly in the field of research. So, of late, Nagaland University has also been contributing a lot to the national research in the research field as well. Focus on development and UPSC aspirations. So, the Vice President underscored the central government's commitment to the region, referencing the Prime Minister. So, for those who are writing mains, this will become a very important factual information for your essay paper, because there will always be at least one essay touching the topic of Nagaland, or say something related to development or Viksit Bharat and all na. Ito right to be sabi. So the region referencing the Prime Minister's development initiative for Northeastern region, that is BM Divine. So launched with 100% centrally funding scheme. So I stopped here, right? So okay. So Prime Minister's development initiative for Northeastern region, BM Divine. This might range from 2 marks to 5 marks to using this as an example in your answer writing. So central funding and an initial corpus of rupees 1,500 crores. The scheme aims to fund infrastructure and social development. He noted that the Union Budget 2026 to 27 has allocated a record over 6,800 crores for the Northeastern region, development of the Northeastern region. Now, 6,800 crores, this is also one data that you can keep in mind. Okay. Urging the youth to engage with the national mainstream, C.P. Radhakrishnan, our Vice President of the India, called upon Naga students to participate actively in the civil services. It is also given the fact that Naga manuan ajagale saishukule do IAS kan do iman komti ho jai ase na. Ola do ola ase holibi iman pi nai. Alag state kan ki compare korle. So we also have to focus on this one as well. More and more Nagaland youngsters must participate in the UPSC, and you all must get very successful and serve the rest of the nation. FNT agreement will address long-standing concerns. The Vice President said that the initiative, like the tripartite agreement signed in February 5th, 2026, between the central government, Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of Nagaland, and the ENPOs, are crucial for the fostering the stability. He addressed the importance of inclusive development, noting that respecting differences is the cornerstone of the democratic society. Peace and mutual respect are essential for the overall development of Nagaland, he said, while referring to the Frontier Nagaland Territorial Authority Agreement. Nagaland University awarded 6,884 students. So the convocation saw 107 PhD scholars, 825 postgraduate students, and 846 graduates from professional programs, and 5,106 undergraduate students receiving this degree. Now just imagine itu 8 convocation last do na 8 convocation, so we can say this year la do iman chungi certificate tisha, which means at least 60 to 70% of those people will be joining the civil services journey in Nagaland. Okay, civil services journey or say government job karne. Now with each passing year na, this year I think it was around 40k who appeared the prelims na 2025 lado, almost I think. So given the fact next year to 45 ho jabo na, very soon it will reach 50, 60, 70. The competition is getting tougher, so you all need to work harder. Students keep Vande Mataram at the Nagaland University convocation. So several students of the Nagaland University remained seated during the playing of the national song Vande Mataram at the university's 8th convocation in Lomami campus, Nipoto district on Friday, in line with the NSF boycott call. So on the call that was given by the NSF, the students remained seated during the playing of the national song. So the union has unanimously decided to boycott, that is the student union, the national song Vande Mataram by remaining seated while it is being played, as it contradicts the special provisions under Article 371A of the Indian Constitution, which safeguard religious beliefs and customary practices of the people of Nagaland. The NUSU Lomami notice stated, can't afford resting on Niti Aayog ranking alone. No kushi in business. Advisor for Industries and Commerce at Export State Summit 2026. Nagaland may have ranked high on the Export Preparedness Index, but entrepreneurs cannot afford to rest on the laurels alone. According to Advisor for Industries and Commerce, Hekani Chakalu. So, muy simple ra koi diwo itu kia zakule do Nagaland to holi do ease of export preparedness index te Niti Aayog lagai to index te Nagaland bi perform kurise na among the smaller states or say northeastern states machote holbe tai ko do itu tala itu ranking in class habra no practical ground reality dibi tu thakio lage ina ko ase. So our job now is to make sure that our young people understand the significance of position and leverage, and make sure that it is converted into very, very successful business. She said that the Department of Industries and Commerce is also doing its part to facilitate and ensure that the required ecosystem is put in place. So under the Raising and Accelerating MSME Performance, that is a RAMP scheme, the department has trained approximately 15,000 MSMEs across the districts and is currently identifying the top 750 entrepreneurs for mentorship over the coming months. MP Jamir chairs Tisha meet in Dimapur, reviews progress of government schemes. Our honorable member of the parliament to the Lok Sabha, he also held the District Development Coordination and Monitoring Committee, that is Tisha na, Tisha la full from the District Development Coordination and Monitoring Committee as it will have a program held Korea where it was attended by our MP, our Deputy Commissioner, and he's the I think he's in charge for this municipal affairs, Muadushi, right? So he's Sri Muadushi. He's also an MLA, and I cannot recognize his face. Most probably SP Hobobare will be ACP Hobare. Addressing the meeting, Jamir said the purpose of the convening the meeting was to review the implementation of various government schemes and ensure that their benefits reach the grassroots level. So he emphasized that projects should be implemented judiciously and that the selection of the project area and beneficiaries must be carried out carefully so that the scheme genuinely benefited deserving sections of the society. However, he also stated that if there are certain issues that cannot be addressed by themselves, then it should be addressed and conveyed to the district. district pra parana visually do it will be taken up by the state level committees headed by the chief minister. To ki problem ase report koribi in time was. NSF objects to minister's statement on NIT issue. Once again, our honorable minister, that is Minister for Higher Education, them jen im naulong is always na dala pichwara, dala piche de hotai fire thage NSF kando, as we can see here. So I don't know why, but hotai whatever statement our honorable minister makes, NSF has something or the other do question him or criticize. I don't know why he's doing this or why the NSF is doing this, but see, manondo pabio kili im naulong eklage kheta thage to NSF kando na noy. Hotai newspaper de NSF condemns him naulong Minister for Technical Education. See, his portfolio itself is higher education though. It doesn't matter if today this im naulong, tomorrow it might be you, me, right? Kon thakili bi NSF to the student community karne ase to tai to Minister of Higher and Technical Education ke question karo to na noy. Ito prahi tai ke question korase. At the same time, sometimes he also makes remarks that hurts the sentiments of the people. Because the NSF also through this very article, they are stating that in order to please his political masters in Delhi, sometimes he used to say things that are not very much appropriate. Na, to itu question kori na. In the recently recruitment, aro any teaching faculty will be non-teaching faculties will be NIT that is in Chumukitima, right? National Institute of Technology. Itu the recruitment process chulia la de question napa chanai dishe NSF kan bra. This is a very lengthy article, so I thought of discussing this, but it might be very lengthy. Let's see after some time. Government move to ban social media for under 16. So this is going to be very important, all right? So 1-2 GK as a to chani rakhibi, or what is the developing issue in the Indian states? It will say so lagi. So Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu on Friday said that the state government will ban use of social media for children under age of 13 years, and that a decision on whether to bar the children in 13 to 16 age group from using social media will be taken after arriving at a consensus. So speaking at the appropriation bill in the State Legislative Assembly, he said steps would be taken within the 90 days on. So takan to decide kro kaise 13 na 16 lowo tan bi decide kro 13 to 16 matlab 14 bi over 15 bi over 16 bi over na to tan itu decide to karna holi bi tan pan to lagauli to discuss to grow kaise. Karnataka to fix ase 16 years la niche kan ke kon bi social media show ni di hoga ase. All right, so Karnataka bi they are doing their thing. Now Jakarta, that is in Indonesia. Indonesia will ban social media for children under 16 years. To social media platforms such as high-risk digital media platforms such as YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, X, Biko Live, and Roblox. See, these are very addictive na. Itu kan do social media sites kan holi bishi addictive kan aje. Second thing aje violence be spread kore na. Violence be shikai vulgarity. Okay, vulgarity, it might be sexual content, or say it might be alcohol, or say na drugs, na violence due to gun culture, murder, rape, na itu kan kwan isna crime petrol aro sei di samdi to man crime petrol samdi to manu to phalu nohina khosha thagoli nina kinika pia aro kurubo idea bawo itu hi sanisina. For many people who do not understand its real purpose, takan do olta hi shikilo. Okay, itu nisna 16 below to we consider them as still very young, not very they are not adults, so we cannot expose them to these links and all na. So at the same time we waste a lot of time that affects our mind. Okay, the young mind kan to creativity bi hari jawo na, creativity hari jawo, disturbed hui jawo mind, and kita tahan no comparison is the thief of joy kanishna. They will start comparing themselves with others, and then some will feel depressed na. So many ill effects as they good sides be as but then ita good sides la kota na gro time bishilo biya kan bi nika pisha ase, and you know better than me. Okay, so Indonesia, so that is something the takan bi pan ko dula ase. Our first country to ban social media under 16 to holido, it is Australia. Okay, Australia. So this will become a very important MCQ. Bukiye Minocrazio win first NWA Provisional Under 15 Wrestling Championship 2026. So under 15 category kun chidi shule Minocrazio Meta, son of Nelhosa Lemeta. Tai chidi she under 15 category de. Our provisional category do Bukiye J Shohei, 22 years old. Tai chidi she. Our winner do lido aji morning la newspaper do taka nai. So winner do lido I think last year la defending champion ni paise naki. Pinye or something like that. Benye or Penye. Messi and Inter Miami faded by President Trump at White House for MLS Cup title. Dunia de jang man dangor shuru kurakina taye de White House de ball receive kurase Messi lahat pra, because Inter Miami to MLS, that is USA laga ta na league ase to chidi she. Let's see if I'll be able to cover this or not after coming back from here. Beyond the first, so now we're starting with the 9th of March. On Sundays I usually take break. Okay, so beyond the first, the new era of women in Nagaland's governance. Despite multiple social obstacles and challenges, women in governance are driving inclusive growth by not just filling roles but also changing the narrative of power. From here we will take out certain GK. Okay, not GK but yes, ini general studies laga na knowledge power. Many of you will know very well, and for some it will be new. On March 2023, Nagaland State has scripted history by electing 2 of its first ever women representatives to the NLA. So prior to them, no women have become a member of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly. Okay, NLA. So first only to Minister Portfolio Padule Salhutono Cruces de. So she was the first, or she is the first NLA female minister. Okay, our member do lido same year de tajumbi olaise hekani chakalu kense, who currently hold key portfolios of the women resource development and industries and commerce as minister and advisor. So Salhutono Cruz holds the portfolio for women resource development, horticulture bit actually charishna ki hoise reshuffle ki, and industries and commerce la advisor do hekani chakalu. Marking another significant moment in history, that is S. Phangnon Konyak. She became the first woman to be elected as a member of the Rajya Sabha, which means ajirak to Rajya Sabha de magi kon bi thana hole Phangnon Konyak to 2022 de she became the first Rajya Sabha laga female MP from Nagaland. Now your homework, okay? Abuni chan thai dia dong mukki uti bola je. First, I know the answer, okay? Holiu muko unoko ba ne nijo bisau dio. First Lok Sabha MP. Okay, Lok Sabha MP female from Nagaland. Alright, Aro mentioned the year. Very interesting, you'll learn. So ida itu charta bi information very important for you. Yate Salhutono Cruz ki bi halitile pa lagisile. Photo pauli ko tuk nai na. So dekhai je tinjun bi dikhao lage inika saishul lo bias kurani sina. Just kidding, will be just my preference will be tan tinjun la nami mention kurna se bole tan tinjun ki bi halitile pa lase. Missing teacher found dead in Woka. Abhijit Saikya, okay, he was a teacher, a mathematics teacher at the Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya, Chukitong, that is in Bokha district. Okay, so tai missing ho jaise for so many days, that is March, February 8 yarala, March 7, almost 1 month bishde paise. So his body will be in a very much decomposed situation. Au tan gose pani la osor de paise go river la osor na. So they are suspecting that it will be like kirikina pani de murishina ki drown hoishina ki inika ase. So I just want to highlight saying that from this very article, itu to exam garden important will be very much careful during this rainy season and also unpredictable season to be careful. Nagaland Foothill Road Coordination Committee reminds government of on the second phase work order. So see, this very particular Nagaland Foothill Road to little 5 marks tak karni pe awuli chance ase. I think not beyond that, but 5 marks tak to chance ase. Now this Nagaland Foothill Road project, make a good notes on that one. Those are not appearing for your mains this year also, you make a notes on this one, because in the coming years also it is going to be still important. Aro from here we can take out certain points for your GK. Okay, so starting from here to here. It also noted that the government of Nagaland has already invested significant funds in the project, stating the government of Nagaland has already infused 248.5 crores to Halina Zush invest na, inclusive of the ongoing first phase SASCL loan scheme of 148.5 crores. Now, according to the committee, the Foothill Road project was initiated in the year 2013. See, that is one info. Okay, one. It described the project as a mega project covering a distance of, now distance is point number 2, right? So one is year, second is distance. So that will be 395.9 or 396 approx. Okay. So from the distance itself, we can also put here from Dizit in Mon district to Kelma in Parent district. Parent spelling wrong as they. Parent ho lagi. Iniga. Now the third thing is how many districts it is touching na, 14. So kiman districts as 8 districts. So we were very much confused with this one na, 7 na 8 as a koi na. So I think mo kwan is na Fort Mali do Central Jail area laga bi count kore ase to ra itu Fort Mali do Chumukitima district ai do dia do na. To ra ita do 7 district ka do 8 district ho jise. Okay, so it will be covering 200 villages along the stretch. So the whole district la 200 village ko noi itu rasta ra directly chua do 200 villages stretch chu guys. So India depths alternative crude supplies as Iran conflict drags on. So we know that the Strait of Hormuz have been locked down, and the India's oil import through the Strait of Hormuz have been suspended for over a week now since the conflict have started. So now India is also looking for alternative crude supplies from those areas where they have to they need not to navigate through the Strait of Hormuz. Indian refineries have begun negotiating for additional crude cargoes from the USA, from Russia, and from West Africa to ensure supplies remain adequate in the event of the Middle East conflict drags on for a longer period, industry officials and analysts said. Refineries which convert crude oil into fuels like petrol and diesel have deferred plant maintenance shutdown and are maintaining normal processing rate to create a buffer that could meet the country's requirement in the near terms. India imports about 88% of its crude oil. Now this can form a very important part of your answer writing process. 88% of India's crude oil refinery requirements were importing. See, India to little balance of payment negatively affect wado mostly for import of crude oil and coal. Okay, this is one of the main factor. I mean the balance of payment effect wado, with roughly half of those supplies in February passing through the Strait of Hormuz. So the 88% India could import crazy itu macho tipi at least around 50% do lido Strait of Hormuz ke par kona hi aise. The narrow sea lane between Iran and Oman that serves as a key energy transit road for global market. The recent military strikes by the United States and Israel on Iran and Tehran's retaliatory attacks on US bases in neighboring countries as well as Israel have sharply escalated tensions. Now, Strait of Hormuz sources are fully operational. Non-Strait of Hormuz sources are fully operational, and we are sourcing more and more supplies from a non-conflict zone, a top oil ministry sources said. Non-Strait sources accounted for 60% of the supplies in 2025, which after the Middle East conflict climbed to 70%. So we are not only fully dependent on the Strait of Hormuz, but a good portion of our supply or imports were coming from through the Straits of Hormuz. Now, since the Strait of Hormuz have been shut down by the Iranian guards, now we are looking for alternatives. So alternatives like the United States, from the Latin American countries, from the West African areas, and then we're also looking towards Russia. Reliance Industries, Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited, and the HPCL, that is Metal Energy Limited, which had halted purchase of the Russian crude oil following a US sanction imposed last year on Moscow's leading producers Rosneft and Lukoil, have returned to the market to secure Russian cargoes, they said. So itiado takan lahat pra aro Russian kan lahat pra aro kinibo ko ese. Nagaland's Yose Chaya honored with Northeast India Achievers Award 2026. Now I thought of going into details. Will be yadi detail di ko pujule thakanai. Edora yadi says this will become a very important part of your GK. Why did he receive this award? Okay, what award is it, and who got this award? Now that is going to be important when you're studying these awards. Okay, so it's important as a why did he get this award? He was recognized for his lifelong and selfless service towards the preservation of the indigenous Angami Naga, Tsana faith and culture, and for strengthening community resilience. Itu hi important as a. Next is, what award did he receive? He received the Northeast Sanstha Delhi. He received the Northeast India Achievers 2026 award. Okay, so the Northeast Sanstha Delhi has honored Yose Chaya. So who usually do Yose Chaya from Nagaland with the Northeast India Achievers Award 2026. So why it was a, who it was a, what award he received the award of Northeast India Achiever 2026 award. That was held at the Mavlangar Auditorium Constitution Club in the New Delhi. So he hails from Westwama village. Over 1 lakh mature trees chopped in Assam in 10 years. I just highlighted this to let you guys know that it is also important to study the problems of deforestation and losing forest cover. Okay, so all Nagaland Students Association Manipur questions MP Dr. Bimol Agoicham remarks. So the All Naka Students Association in Manipur has sought a clarification from the Lok Sabha MP Dr. Bimol Agoicham and the Indian National Congress over statement made during various discussions, including a talk circulated on social media concerning a forest land in the hill areas of Manipur. So the demand of the ST status by the Métis for the Métis and the criticism of the constitutional safeguards governing the hill areas under Article 371C. Just like Nagaland have Article 371A, Manipur also have Article 371C. Okay, so in a statement issued on March 8, the Apex Naga student body in Manipur said, in light of the sensitivity of these issues and their direct implication for the tribal communities of Manipur, the ANSAM is compelled to seek clarification from the Honorable MP and the Indian National Congress Party on several points which undermine the constitutional and historical rights of the indigenous tribal people of the state. The association noted that Article 371C of the Indian Constitution was introduced during Manipur's transition to statehood in 1949, I guess, to provide a special administrative safeguard for the hill areas. According to ANSAM, All Nagaland Student Association Manipur, the provision was enacted to safeguard the rights of the tribal communities over land, resources, culture, and customs. So the student body further maintained that tribal leaders from Manipur had approached various courts in the country since India's independence, culminating in the Supreme Court of India, which have time and again affirmed that there is no government caste land in the hill areas of Manipur. Now, Holibi, instead, it gave a ruling saying that the land belongs to the people, and as per the records that has been available since the immemorial as the indigenous owners of the land. So, as per the history, as per the records, of the land which belongs to the indigenous people of the state, the land belongs to the people. Okay, in a question. That's why compensation in the hills is mandatorily paid directly to the indigenous land tribal landholders by all user agencies, including the state as well as the union government. So on land administration in the valley, Ansam said that following the merger of Manipur with the Union of India in 1949, land in the valley became the property of the state and has largely been governed through statutory mechanisms under the Revenue Department. Given this historical and constitutional realities, Ansam says statement suggested that the forest land in the hills areas are open for claims by communities outside traditional tribal independent raise serious concern. So, the Honorable MP Branya Kushnagi that the forest land in the hill areas to Olido, it is open to claim by the communities outside the tribal inhabitants as well. Na ini ka question. So we demand your clarification whether you are speaking in your personal capacity or to the statement that this regard established legal, constitutional, and administrative framework governing the land and resources ownership in the Hill District of Manipur reflect the official position of the INC. So the association also cautioned the demand for ST status for the Métis, asking how can such a progressive community with a claim of 2,000 to 500 years of existence desire to benefit from being an ST under the Indian Constitution. It further pointed out what it described as inconsistency in the Congress Party's position, noting that its leadership had supported stronger constitutional protections for tribal communities in other regions. So actually Manipur, the Métis were a kingdom, nah? Métis were a kingdom, okay? Manipur Métis were kingdom, and they have been in existence, and they have been a kingdom, a flourishing one, many years ago. Okay, they are saying that the claim saying that about 2,000 to 5,000 years ago, na itu tu Jesus dunia dia thakam debi takan tu thakise itu sabte na. So ini ka like them existence seman salva thakisule takan progress to ini ka thakio. So how they can now come down and claim the ST status na, reservation status kita kina claim bro. You know, the sport called polo, right? Itu bi Manipur ra alas do. Na? Russia says international law effectively dead. Now Russia says international law effectively dead. Russia has said international law is effectively dead amid escalating tensions in West Asia following the US-Israeli strike on Iran and call for reviving President Vladimir Putin's proposal to convene a summit of the 5 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council. So these 5 UN Security Council members was Russia, USA, China, France, or UK na. So Putin have called for a summit of these 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council. Now, following what is happening in West Asia, like the attack on Iran by the US and Israel, to what is happening in Palestine, see, suppose international law probably to peace maintain krolibi kuina ase na, to respect each other's sovereignty. Holibi respect of the sovereignty sovereignty ta ke morai dise. Eta bacha tangor chutu sab ke morai ase. So where is the international law na? International law is effectively dead. Yes, of course, like our president of the Russian Federation Pakwansina. Now Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said the current global situation underscores the need to revisit Putin's proposal first met before the COVID-19 pandemic for a summit of P5, that is permanent 5 na, to discuss the global security and stability. We have all lost what we call international law. I don't even understand how anyone can be called upon to follow the norms and principles of international law. It effectively no longer exists. He said international law exists in de theory, which means in laws or in papers, but no longer de facto, in fact or in reality, in practice. It is no longer applicable. We cannot tell anyone to follow international law. Follow which law? Nobody can formulate today what it is, he said, referring to the sharp escalation following the US-Israeli attack on Iran. So our budget session at the center will resume today. No trust resolution against Om Birla, West Asia crisis to dominate. So the discussion will be carried on first for the no confidence motion that was moved against our Honorable Speaker of Lok Sabha, Om Birla. Then it will be followed by the crisis in the West Asia, that is Iran Deki Huazetulaga, and also the issues on India's oil purchases. Then it will be followed by the SIRI special intensive revision that was for the West Bengal elections. Okay, so Lok Sabha may not take up the question hour between 11 a.m. and 12 noon on Monday, as it may get adjourned to pay respect to the sitting member of from Shillong, Tai Murishiduna, Ricky Singkon, who passed away on February 19. So here, this is a GK again that you can consider. Okay, general knowledge or general studies or whatever. So far, 3 times speaker ke impeach kole atan no confidence motion pass korna ji. GV Maflangar 1954 na, Hukam Singh 1966, Balram Jakar in 1987 will be all were defeated. Okay, all the motions were defeated. Matlab takan kun ki remove kora nai. Aru idia mohan la Ompir lagi bi move kora ase will be we know for sure that it will be defeated because the BJP and the alliance are in a vast majority. Okay, so nobody will vote against their own party, right? So most probably it will get defeated once again. T20 World Cup, Samson Bumrah star as India clinched third title, beat New Zealand by 96 runs. So finally the tournament is over. ICC T20 World Cup comes home once again. So for two consecutive time, India is winning this T20 World Cup, and this is the only team that is winning consecutive, and the first time that on home ground Chiti Halo final, it will be the first time as a. So for the exam, what is important to me it details kan to dinaze will be what is important is by how many runs, by 96 runs. Okay, so which means India won. Runners up or second to kun paisuglido, they defeated New Zealand na. So they defeated New Zealand. Next thing is, who is the man of the tournament? Man of the tournament or player of the tournament? It was, I think, Sanju Samson na. Highest wicket taker kun thakise, I think Varun Chakravarti. Okay, Varun Chakravarti. Now highest runs though, that will be your homework. So India defeated New Zealand by 96 runs. My Bharat Asmita Fit India Athletics Meet held in Mokchong. So Mokchong Athletics, in collaboration with My Bharat, organized the My Bharat Asmita Fit India sporting event at the Imkung Marine Sports Complex, Mokchong on March 7 to mark International Women's Day on 2026. The event was held under the aegis of the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports through the Sports Authority of India and the My Bharat as part of the Government of India's Sport for Women initiative. Asmita is achieving sports milestone by inspiring women through action. So the program brought together young women and girls to compete in various athletic events. Russell wins Australia GPS Mercedes goes 1-2. So he's Taido Mercedes la driver Mercedes la research day. Mercedes research day Russell. So sometimes they used to ask which team they are racing for, na? It's Mercedes. So George Russell is the winner. So when you're studying this Grand Prix, please study who is the winner, who is the runners up. Okay, and for which team they are racing for. ঠিক আছে না? আৰু which tournament. So it was Australian Grand Prix. জিতিছে winner do আছে Russell আছে, George Russells. কোন second পাইছে কলিdo his own teammate, that is Kimi Antonelli. So Kimi Antonelli তাই second পাইছে runners up, আৰু তাই বিছে Mercedes prize আছে. So I think we'll go back to this one and we'll discuss this as a last topic for today. So this is going to be a lengthy one, a very interesting one, a very important article that has been written by someone who is very expert in this field, and that we will get a lot to learn from them. So we'll discuss on this very article, though I might not be able to interpret in the best possible manner as how the author has intended to share on this very article, but let's try to extract as much information as we can and learn. All right, so democratic transformation, emerging AI leadership, and geopolitical calculus in a turbulent era. Now, as the opening month of 2026 unfolds, the international strategic landscape is being reshaped by seismic political transitions, technological leadership contests, and complex security dynamics across regions. South Asia's largest democratic exercise in Bangladesh has yielded a historic transfer of power. India's hosting of the India's AI Impact Summit 2026 has projected new technological ambition. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Israel underscores the delicate balance that New Delhi must maintain amid enduring the Middle East tensions. Now, this development occurred against the backdrop of a persistent global volatility, from Russia-Ukraine dynamics to tensions in West Asia, with India increasingly positioned as both a regional stabilizer and a global South diplomatic actor. No matter how well India is growing today or not, but we should all respect the fact that India is able to maintain neutrality, having a good relation with almost all the major powers in this world. So there's India's foreign policies, the diplomacy that India is following is something that needs to be studied as well. So because India is a very strong country when it comes to the population wise. Okay, our area of the country is also big on the our water body species kurase neighbors can be ase, but at the same time, when we look at the economy itself, of course we say India is the fourth largest economy by GDP wise, so it's a 4 point something trillion economy by now, and soon it will grow. But at the same time, India, one good thing about India is that it has well maintained a neutrality throughout the period. So that is something that we need to study and appreciate. Bangladesh political transformation, a new chapter in South Asian democracy. So right now the Bangladesh election tagise after ousting Sheikh Hasina, who is taking refuge in India, if I'm not wrong, in an electoral process that followed the 2024 uprising. So the Awami League tagise tagandu hulibi Awami League nuina ita Bangladesh laga nationalist party kunita ase Tariq Rehman. He is the leader of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, and his party has won the election. And itu Bangladesh la parliament na namase Jatiya Sangsad. Okay, Jatiya Sangsad. Now Rehman government, they no ini ase ki power is given, or say responsibility is given now. When we look at the situation that Tariq Rehman is at this present juncture, I can see a situation where you're full of responsibilities and lesser power. Power to kumdia se, responsibility specia se, and the risks of maintaining a good relation with the neighbors. Apna predecessors kan bra hoy phal kurina kothai o kuna bra what followed during the protest and after that even to the extent of killing some Indians who are living in Bangladesh. We can see that relation to all of the deteriorate korilushe. At the same time, unemployment problem man hujise, inflation pressure as a governance challenges we have to look at the religious side as well. To itu sob responsibility thakina thakam ekta de tagi to governance laga responsibility tala hath ase. So let's see how his government will run in the next during his tenure. So Rahman's government now confronts immediate economic and governance challenges, inflationary pressures, unemployment, especially among the youth, with rising demands for institutional reforms across justice, accountability, and regulatory framework, will define Dhaka's first year in office. Relations with India will be central feature of their trajectory. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulatory message to Rahman emphasized India's desire for a democratic, progressive, and inclusive Bangladesh, reflecting New Delhi's intent to maintain robust bilateral ties even as political dynamics evolve. While the election was largely peaceful and deemed credible by many observers, the absence of the Awami League whose spaces have begun to spearhead at local levels suggest potential future contentions. India AI Impact Summit 2026, New Delhi's technological diplomacy. Very important for any upcoming exams. Alright, India's diplomatic standing received a further boost with the successful conclusion of the India AI Summit of 2026, held from the 16th to the 20th of February in New Delhi for 5 days. Right, the summit, the first of its scale, hosted by a global South nations, brought together more than 500 global delegates, including heads of the state, technological CEOs, Sam Altman, Sundar Pichai, dance of Aishana, government ministers, and international researchers to deliberate on the future of artificial intelligence. The event culminated in the adoption of the New Delhi Declaration on AI Impact. So the New Delhi Declaration on AI Impact to be endorsed by 89 countries. Now this is also something that can form a part of your GK, representing a collective global commitment to for an inclusive, responsible, and equitable AI development. Participating nations include Australia, France, Germany, USA, China, Israel, and Bangladesh, highlighted that AI should advance economic growth, social empowerment, and self-innovation for humanity at large. Prime Minister Narendra Modi articulated India's Manaf vision for AI, which is anchored in principles of morality, accountability, national sovereignty, accessibility, and legitimacy. He stressed that AI should remain human-centric and an instrument of empowerment rather than exploitation, particularly for the global south. Now, beyond lofty frameworks, the summit has also catalyzed intangible investment commitments exceeding $200 billion, with contributions from major Indian conglomerates and global technology firms, positioning India as the center of emerging AI value chains. Now, despite the bottlenecks in India hosting of the summit and the resulting global consequences on AI ethics and governance reflect a moment of technological leadership that could shape norms and policies in the years to come. Modi's Israel visit, strategic diplomacy in a regional flashpoint. Prime Minister Narendra Modi just recently went to Israel on the invitation of Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. So this diplomatic meeting witnessed a significant shift in India's foreign policy amidst rising and complex geopolitical tensions in the Middle East. Modi's visit reinforces counter-terrorism collaboration. So India is also a country who is very much against terrorism, enhance defense and technological partnerships, and position India as an independent stakeholder in West Asian geopolitics, one that engages multiple actors without being drawn into zero-sum rivalries. As India navigates regional uncertainty, maintaining diplomatic balance will be pivotal for its broader strategic interests. The Board of Peace. It be very interesting as they. The Board of Peace. Oh, exactly. Exam perspective to now worry will be we never know na Viva gun Nishanan Aishuli don't be board no job. The timing of the port's launch has been overtaken by one of the most destabilizing shocks in West Asian strategic environment in decades. The assassination of the supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, in a reported joint United States and Israeli strike military operation that also killed several senior Iranian officials. State media in Tehran has confirmed Khamenei's death and declared a period of national mourning, while Iranian authorities have condemned the strike as an act of terrorism and vowed reprisal. See, if such an act has been committed by by some other countries on the United States or Israel, now just imagine Donald Trump ke kuno ra ena morai dishe attack kurise tagan laga court attack kurise tala pachakan ki morai dishe tala grandchildren ki morai dishe Donald Trump ki morai dishe. Just imagine how the world will react, how the United States will react. Okay, the world will react differently. What happened in Iran is projected as a bringing peace, bringing democracy, saving people from torture and harassment. No, just imagine if that happened to the coalition, the United States, Israel, President, Prime Minister, just happen how the world will react. The whole world will react against it and call it as an act of terrorism. Holibi ita saishuguli do Avengers kan jama korna dunia ke pachawle chanisina Israel or USA milagina Iran la supreme leader tak ki morai dishe, and then whatever the Iran is saying that it's a terrorist act exercise actually hosa se do manula supreme leader take na morai do, it's kind of an assassination, it's a terrorist act hosa do kilu le bacha makian ki morai she aro schools hospital kan ki pompar kram di mortam morai she. So at this present juncture we can see that US hobi Israel hobi tons of terrorists ase, Iran bi tangna side terrorists ase, because one man terrorist is another person's freedom fighter ko tomon. Okay, so it's all about the perspective. It depends on which side you are. Okay, so for me any act of violence against the civilians is an act of terror according to me. Okay, so Tehran has confirmed Khamenei's death and declared a period of national mourning immediately. Okay, in this sharply escalated conflict environment, the Board of Peace which the United States have been calling from the World Economic Forum Davos te thakamle tai to call ekta dishe in a Board of Peace ekta set up korona reduced Washington de I think have called for a meeting. So originally conceived to coordinate a post-conflict stabilization and reconstruction in Gaza Strip, now confronts a far more uncertain and combustible strategic landscape. My question is it going to rival the United Nations? Is United Nations still relevant, or it has become redundant? Okay, is the United Nations becoming a toothless tiger? These are the questions that I would like to raise or ask my viewers to give a thought on. Its initial focus on economic recovery and humanitarian coordination risks being overshadowed by an acute crisis of leadership in Iran, rapid military escalation, and the reconfiguration of the deterrence dynamics across West Asia. So what is this Board of Peace going to be? Of course, everything starts with something small. Start for the reconstruction or say rebuilding of the Gaza Strip. Start peace in Gaza and start. What if it becomes another block? Another block just like NATO, US and his favorites kan sama gurna. Block dunia pura bully that is something that we have to also think. So in this very Board of Peace to India do permanent member ekta nishna noina takibi ekta observator nishna takibi invite korikina itu attend korise. So challenges and road ahead for India. For India, the path forward is clearly complex. Domestically, building on the progress made through the recent AI diplomacy, especially after successfully hosting the India AI Summit, Impact Summit, will require ongoing investment in education, semiconductor ecosystem, data infrastructure, clear regulations, and strong ethical safeguards. So this is going to be a very lengthy one, so you can go through it by yourself. I just want to have this conclusion with you, that is, finally, as India amplifies its voice in global arena, whether it's AI governance, climate action framework, supply chain resilience, or emerging multilateral institutions, it must build resilient and inclusive global norms, navigating these shifts will require India to act not only as a participant but also as a bridge builder, harmonizing innovation, sovereignty, and multilateral legitimacy. As India navigates regional uncertainty, maintaining diplomatic balance will be pivotal for its broader strategic interests. Leading initiatives that foster inclusion, transparency, and shared technological empowerment will be central to India's strategic identity as a convener of the Global South and a responsible stabilizing global power. Now, since I have important work coming up, I have to leave quickly, so that is the reason why I am leaving out some of the paragraphs. Okay, but mo highlight to kurtina se abunian newspaper samde it one all consider kurdibi. I'll go have a very quick I'll have a very quick look into your comment section because I have to reply to your comments if there are some issues that has been raised. So we have a very good number of comments. So thank you so much for all that you have took out your precious time and commented, so that you'll also learn and we will also learn and the viewers will also learn. Thank you so much, Zapeng and Chuko. That is a very insightful one. And those who are reading the comments, please go through this one, okay? It is very important as a to question expert already exam as a not only in prelims but main stuff the Khutiala question as a. Thank you so much, Nomwang Wangsa. Article 155, appointment of the governor. All right, thank you so much. You're welcome. 5 international trade centers. Okay, okay. Barracks 155, appointment of governor. Yes, thank you so much. Soitang, yes, 155, appointment of governor in India. Very good. Okay, we have 5 international trade centers. Okay, also referred as the border trade centers. Longwa in Mon, yes. Pangsa or Da in Noklak, Mimi in Kiferi, Molhe in Pek district, Avangku in Meluri district. So I'm not very sure is Molhe is in Pek district or is in Meluri. Those who are from that area, please help and correct. Okay, so I feel like Molhe will be in the Meluri na Itel Nutun district. Thank you so much. There are 5 IDCs. Okay. So Perix X, thank you so much. Avangku is also in Pek. Okay. Oh, sorry, in Miluri. Okay, Lang P7351. Right now I'm using a Samsung tablet. Okay. Model name to maybe yet night would be Samsung tablet that supports stylus would be good. Latok U8V, very detailed answering, very good. Thank you so much. International Women's Day 8 March, theme is gift to Ken. Thank you so much. Religious percentage also very good. So Christianity is highest, of course. Hinduism, Islam, Buddhism, Jainism. Okay, Sikhism subsequent and other religion to Parsigan. The fifth in there are 5 international. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much, the governor of the 155. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for the comments. Ajibi homokuna tina se abunan sagina comment could be. Alright. So with that being said, I wish you all the very best, and I'll try to upload a regular newspaper at this very time. Okay, from today, it's starting from today. I'm trying to change this timetable. So thank you so much. Have a very productive and a blessed day. I'll see you all tomorrow in the morning. Thank you and bye bye.